And I'm here in Paris this week for a very interesting interview. The last episode, we were talking about Atacadão, and this time we're talking about Carrefour Links, which is a special division of Carrefour that concentrates in data collaboration. I have with me today the managing director, Emmanuel Malkor, and he's going to share what is the business model, what they're envisioning for the future. Here's Paula Macadi, and this is episode 47 of my show. Welcome to OFFBounds. Welcome to the show. I'm very happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to meet you.
So let's help our audience understand what is that you do. Like, what is Carrefour Links?
So Carrefour Links has been launched in 2021, and we've been through a transformation since 2019. And the idea was to have in one big data lake all the data from all the countries. I go back to that time because to make a lot of sense of why we reached to the creation of Carrefour Links. Like our 9 countries at that time, because Taiwan was part of the integrated countries, had their own data. It's pretty classic. Each business unit has their own database, their own data. And we have the intention and the willing to have a global approach in Carrefour as well, dealing with international suppliers. We are a group and we want to have an overview on what's going on and take best decisions. And that was quite a challenge to get information from France, from Brazil, from Spain, from Italy.
I bet, like, you didn't have that integrated, so it was all independent and you had to integrate?
Yeah, it was more work. You need to get all the data from all the countries.
It's more complicated than it sounds.
Yes. And so that was a huge change because we had this partnership with Google. We moved to the cloud. That was not the case before. And after a long project, we succeeded to get all the data available for the group in one place. That was huge. And one of the projects that led that was actually to provide to international suppliers one dashboard where they could have their performance in all the countries. And that was one big challenge, and that's how we started to lead that. And that was actually a monetized approach. How we can provide dashboards to international suppliers, partners, to help how to create growth, to develop business together.
By partners, you mean the brands?
The brands.
Okay.
So that was one stream. The other one is the retail media.
Which everybody's talking about,
exactly.
Right? Like, that's the hot topic.
I'm not in charge of it, but I can recommend you to meet Alexis Marcombe, who's the CEO of our branch in Limitel, which is in charge of retail media. It's actually a joint venture with Publicis. And if you want to know more about it, I think it could be an interesting interview for you because we intend to lead Europe to that direction. It's not the same market as the US or even the UK, but our intention is to be a leader for that too. So that was the other stream. And so basically Carrefour Links is about 2 main activities: retail media, which actually is the leading stream because we see that is booming in the world. And the second one is what we call the collaboration retail analytics. That's what I do. It's more about how we can connect suppliers and Carrefour through operational touch points, either to develop growth, to support through supply chain, to develop growing formats such as e-commerce, and to put data in the middle and to ensure that we have the same data to take decisions. And so in 2021, that was, I think, Olivier Gibert that you received spoke about data for business.
Yeah, so now you're having the follow-up. The first interview was like building the data lake.
I did my homework.
Transferring everything, exactly.
Yes. And so you have the data for business, data as a business, data for business. And so data as a business is, okay, we have data, we should monetize it. And that can also be a virtuous circle for us because that means that we can also develop growth with leaders, brands with us. And so what we've done is we launched Carrefour Links with an objective to reach a strategic result in 2026. And that was actually the creation of Carrefour Links. That changed since January because as we created in Limitel, So last January, that's officially launched. They started to operate. Now Carrefour Links is only focused on the retail analytics approach, and that's very within Carrefour. It's core business for us. That's why that's been created. So bit long story, but it starts from a pain point. We have no access to all the data. We have to manage manually and to ask for send emails to ask data from all the countries.
It wasn't automated, like you had to go through a process to get all the data.
And now it's available. And I believe that's a very game changer for us. Why? Because from that, we have the opportunity to say, okay, now we have all this data available. That can be a great opportunity to use that to be better at our operations. So for marketing, for supply chain, for the stores, for the category management.
But that's for like Carrefour usage.
Yeah.
But you're also partnering with this data collection with other partners, right? Like with
Exactly.
the brands. Even though we are not talking about retail media, how is that collaboration?
The collaboration is as follows. My understanding, that's my own understanding. Every year, we have to create a business plan, define in Carrefour what is the right assortment, pure category management. And so we have a lot of suppliers that are willing to have their product in our stores. And
all of them.
all of them, all of them. It's quite a tricky situation for a buyer, because he has to find the right fit to make the best profit for the company, and also first than that, to have the right offer for the customers, for the shoppers. And what the brands are doing, from what I've seen, is they want to influence definitely that their brands are the best for the customers. But sometimes for us it's not that easy to see that. If you are a very important group, you are doing a lot of advertising, you have a good track record, okay, we trust that your product will work. But for some other companies, it's quite kind of different. And what we can do through what we're doing is actually to let the companies that have our data to have better information for this influence work. So first of all, they come to these business meetings with the data that we have, that we use internally. Because what Carrefour Links is developing is also to provide data to our teams in Carrefour. So let's have the same data together. That's
is
one
that the
point.
data supermarket that Olivier talked about in our first interview? Or?
It relies on it.
Okay.
It relies on it, actually. It relies on it. If when a brand wants to actually launch a product, we explain to you that this innovation is the right thing you should put in the store. What we can propose through Carrefour Links is, okay, let's try it. Let's do a pilot about it. So we can select stores that are representative to actually the shoppers you think we're going to target. If it's about families, about students, okay, let's find out the stores that are representative for this type of segment in Carrefour. Let's put the product in store, and after 3 months, let's analyze the results. And based on these results, we can organize a meeting with the category manager. And from that, let's have a conversation if we can scale it or it's actually a fail. It's a failure, so let's forget about it. And that's how we put data, and we put analysis through this type of business decisions. I believe it's very helpful.
Do you have an example?
Yes, I think one that is actually available on our website, links.carrefour.com. It's with Procter & Gamble. It's something we've done in Romania through Bringo. Bringo is the e-commerce platform of Carrefour in Romania. And at that time, Procter & Gamble, they identified that the category of diapers were actually decreasing. And so they didn't understand what was going on. So they looked at the numbers and they identified that from online and in store, the average basket was actually different. I would say 19 euros online and 15 euros in stores. But that means that you need to understand more what are the buyers, the shoppers doing behind this. And actually, families that need to buy diapers, they have to plan their shopping. So doing it online was actually easier to do it. Well, I actually know that because I'm recently father of twins, so I'm actually...
You have a lot of diapers to care
I
about.
have to plan a lot. and so what they've done, the smart move is, okay, they created a specific offer online, biggest package, and I actually had great results because at the end, it's succeeded to increase the performance of the category and also of Procter & Gamble brands. All this data it helps to have the right diagnostic, to have the good conversation with the teams of Carrefour. That gave also the idea to Procter & Gamble to create this new offer, specific promotion, big package. Let's launch that online, and then led to good result for either Carrefour, either Procter & Gamble, and the other players of the category.
And the customer too.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was a win-win-win. Everybody won because the power of data.
Definitely, yes.
And do you think, we've been talking a lot about AI recently, right? And I'm sure you know a lot about it. Do you think these advancements with AI, especially Gen AI that came, I don't know, it's been 2 years that we are talking so much about it. Do you think that helped navigate this data more?
For internal use in Carrefour, definitely. We're actually launching our own AI platform. And we also, in Carrefour Links, we're looking at it as how we can improve how we develop, how we're coding, how we are checking data quality, and more for internal use. So, at this stage, we're kind of more exploring how we can improve our efficiency in Carrefour. And we're not there yet at collaborating with the suppliers. But I believe that what we're doing now, providing a platform where the users have to do their own analysis, is actually, for sure, if you're really good at prompting, I want this analysis, what's the result of my campaign, or what are the performance of this product, and you have access to the data that Carrefour has behind it. That's definitely a big opportunity for them, because what I've learned from the last 3 years on duty is most people, they don't like to do analysis. They want to have a ready analysis for them.
Fair enough. Yeah, it takes so much time.
Yeah, you don't want to lose time. I have to run the business. Just give me the numbers. And you have different ways to do it. Today, we have the human way. Like, you have a consultant next to every user to explain, to provide analysis. Some are more data savvy, so they do their own analysis. But at the end, they want to have the ready studies on their table, as they don't want to spend too much time to do an analysis. I believe that Gen AI can be a really good asset to solve that
facilitate
this facilitate
data exchange or analysis, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this is started in 2021. Interesting timing, and now we are almost in 2025. So it had a lot of learnings and that I imagine that you had in this time. Is there anything that you pivoted or you discovered that was something that you were not imagining before?
We took the decision to do that ourselves. Like, let's put ourselves in front of the suppliers and take people from the company. I'm one of them, and let's run this business. Let's become our own data analytics company within Carrefour and able to provide services to the suppliers. So I think my first challenge was, when we will release the product, what will happen? And so the anticipation was there will be a lot of issues, a lot of problems. They won't understand the data. They won't have access to the platform. So we need to put in place a customer success team. So we created the customer success team. We needed to create the full loop of the product management team and the tech team together, the sales, the customer success, how we can create this. We needed to learn how the suppliers are organized in their own companies, how they use our data, how that could be useful for them. We needed to understand more how we could be better at serving them, doing that type of service.
Kind of like figuring out the product market fit, how that would
definitely.
So I imagine you also had a lot of feedback, like you had to work with that. Yeah.
Yes, and we learned actually something I read before. Most of companies, they don't have a lot of time or resources to do the analysis. So if you want to succeed in that type of activities, you need to anticipate that you will have to spend a lot of time to explain, to answer questions, and to secure them that the data and the quality of the data that you're providing is good. And another thing that I observed in most markets, you have the retailers that are providing data, companies such as Nielsen IQ, Circana, these guys. And you have also access to your own data when you do the panel, when you do surveys to customers. Each company has their own way to see data as well. The taxonomy, for example. Mm-hmm. And the biggest challenge is, as we see Carrefour as, we see the business as Carrefour, when we shared our data to suppliers, they didn't understand how we categorize products, because we've done that the same way we organize our stores. And so there were some miscommunications.
And also, like, they talk to so many other supermarkets, right? Like, each supermarket must provide different types of data, so they have to also...
Yeah, unfortunately, not yet the one only retailer in the world, so they have to deal with others. And that's actually the challenge. And what I understand from that is I have access to so much data, and so you can get quite overwhelmed. What is the data I should actually take in consideration? And that's where comes the consulting approach to explain why there is a gap between this source and this source. And that can become quickly a nightmare if you're not organized, prepared. And basically we learn how to understand more the differences, when that makes sense to challenge the data we provide, when it doesn't make sense, and so on and so on. I think we reach a good level of maturity, and that's why I think we are quite comfortable when we say that our model is the digital retail company, that we put digital at heart of what we do, that data is available everywhere, because we have this maturity. If what I learned also is actually the same situation with suppliers. The big ones maybe are even better than us, definitely better than us, bigger teams than us in data. So we have a conversation really advanced. But you have also the opposite, where you have some suppliers that have nobody. So you provide them data, they don't know how to use it.
Because like, great, like what is the... Yeah.
Yes, they need to understand, to spend time on it, and that's quite complicated. It's very interesting to, from these last 2-3 years, I think now I have a good knowledge on what's quite the maturity in data of the suppliers that we are working with, and that led to a lot of opportunities. For example, when you speak about raw data, APIs, these things, that's very interesting for very advanced suppliers, because they have the people to understand.
They probably have the data analysts that are going to be doing something with it. Yeah.
So their dashboard for them, probably less interesting. I mean, not for their data people. On the other way around, if you look at very small companies, they need actually something ready to use.
Digestible, yeah.
Yeah. With dashboard, simple numbers, I just connect and have the results.
So you have to also separate your suppliers into categories, I guess.
Even
these ones you have to give raw data, these ones you have to give a more digestible dashboard or something like that.
Yeah, some of them in consulting, some of them not at all. And I think what's most interesting in that is the investment. You have more investment behind building a platform, doing consulting, and you have to do that with smaller suppliers. And actually with the bigger suppliers, the investment is a bit less, because they already have the people. I don't know if you
Got
see
it,
what I
got it.
mean
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
kind of the different approach, different investment. But I believe that's also a good challenge, because what we are doing, and I'm in charge of the group, but also for France. On France, we're actually accelerating on how we can provide simple platform to very small companies, very SMEs. And the good thing behind is maybe we succeeded to help these companies to have to accelerate their maturity in data, and that may be a way of Carrefour to actually help the ecosystem to be more data driven. I mean, that's kind of the purpose we have, I believe.
So there was a lot of things to figure it out, and I think like there are a few things that are still there to be figured out.
A lot. Yeah, we're learning every day.
Of course, it's pretty new. So like I think everybody, even the suppliers, everybody is trying to understand how they can use this data, right? How do you see that in 10 years? Let's say it's going to be super mature. Like what is the vision?
I think that would be different if you look at geographical markets. And I have no clue, but I will try.
You're guessing, yeah.
I think if you look at where we speak about data monetization, retail media, it's mostly in the US, mostly in UK. I mean, but continental Europe, South America, I don't know yet. But because it's there are different markets, and it all depends on the relationship between customers, suppliers, and retailers. If I look at where Carrefour is, if I take first Europe, the relations between suppliers and retailers are mostly about negotiation. That means that we didn't yet reach the collaboration mindset. And I'm not speaking about the UK. They're really advanced on that. So the collaboration mindset is not actually something really big yet in Europe. And that's really necessary to reach that. So I believe if in 10 years the landscape change, the ecosystem change regarding collaboration, I'm sure either retail media and data collaboration will be huge because of that. But now the way it's actually, the current situation right now that is more transactional than in the collaboration approach that's quite more natural in the UK or in the US, doesn't allow that to be that big yet. It's going to be slow. So probably, if the ecosystem change, and I'm sure it will change because of people are changing, we are more data-driven
and it's
oriented.
changing so much faster than, I don't know, like every month is something different, I guess. I guess it's going to mature really quick.
Probably.
Yeah.
So that means that it relies a lot on the main relationship between retailers and suppliers. So that if that change, probably that would, I mean, for me, that's the secret sauce to really accelerate. And if you look at the US or UK, that will definitely be. It's already the case, but that really depends. And I think in Brazil we launched our retail media branch in Limitel there. There was already a retail media over there. I cannot compare. I don't know exactly well the relationship, but I know that Carrefour, the way it's structured right now over there, could be, I think, in the few years, accelerating even more than Europe, because the way Carrefour Links is operating there, it's a bit more agile, a bit more disconnected from the main relationship, and that led more opportunities as well to have, the specific conversation on how we can grow business through data.
Yeah, I was checking some data from eMarketer, and now they're super focused on retail media, right? Because that's the new way of ad spend, let's say. And they were saying that Latin America is just like, it's going to grow a lot faster than most markets. So I'm excited to see how that's going to perform.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And well, everybody's talking about this data collaboration, retail media, everything, like how retailers can actually be more profitable if they focus more on this data approach, or commercializing this data or monetizing this data.
The retailers.
Yeah. So like what is the percentage? Like what is the importance of this new venture for Carrefour?
It's complicated to answer at that question because today is absolutely related to the business plan that we have with the partner, with suppliers, with the partner. Well, I call them partners because they are my partners.
Yeah.
The suppliers for Carrefour. It's actually all integrated in the whole relationship. If I speak about data collaboration, Retail Media now, as it's a company with Publicis, Carrefour and Publicis, it's separated. So they can have a better answer on that question for Retail Media, for data collaboration today in Europe, as it's part of the main conversation we have. So the assortment, the products, how we can leverage data to boost the business plan. It's complicated to explain, to give a percentage exactly. And regarding the margin, it's difficult to isolate it because as it's all part of one single approach, it's difficult to say that's very specifically bringing this specific value. We try to do that, like we done some calculation to provide the ROI on what we do, but we don't have a specific number.
Let's see in 2 years. I'll come back and ask the question.
Yes, definitely. But that's actually linked to the ecosystem. As the ecosystem is mainly about the negotiation approach, you don't separate it because it has to be part of it. If we enter a collaboration ecosystem, that means you can have a separate conversation about, let's focus on collaboration and how we invest together on it. That's why. But if in 2 years and if the ecosystem is actually evolving as fast as you seems to see it, definitely I could have a different answer.
Yeah, you're giving me a good vibe. I'm confident that it will.
Yeah.
So how many people are at Carrefour Links now?
We are around 100 people, split it into sales, customer success operations, and product, digital.
And you've been at Carrefour for less than 10 years, right? Like 9 years?
Yeah, I joined in September 2015.
September 2015. Wow, it's going to be 10 years soon.
Yes, on my way.
Yeah, so you grew pretty fast in the company. I'm interested in, what do you think is that you have as a leader that made you achieve such a successful career in Carrefour?
That's a complicated question. I don't know if I'm successful or...
I think you are.
Okay, thank you. First, I joined Carrefour through a high potential program. That I think that definitely helps. So I'm very grateful for Carrefour because I've been really trained through leadership programs through the years. But that doesn't explain everything. I think what's key is to clear on on the track record you want to have, and what is actually giving you energy, what is leading you, and why you're here. And I think the biggest question is to ask yourself every day: if what I do matter, do I have an impact in what it is? And if I have an impact, I hope I have, otherwise probably I shouldn't be here. What can I do to improve it? And that should be your question every day. So that's one thing. Looking at where you can have the biggest impact, and that's a challenge. You need to have a good understanding of the company and good understanding of yourself to know where you can approach and result in the company. So I think that's one thing, and really focusing on, what is the story that I'm creating through my career? Like, okay, I started there. What could be the next step? And I believe a lot into creating stories about what we do. And so what is my next story? And what's the new chapter? I believe that a career is like a book. You open a new chapter and you learn from each step. And looking at that more in that I think maybe money or these questions are really important. I think if you look at more at how I can have an impact, that can come along. That's my vision.
Do you think you have a specific talent? I learned that I have a talent, but I learned it later in my career. I was like, I had no idea that this thing I'm good at. that I had no idea. I just thought everybody was good at. But then I learned that I'm very good in connecting with people. What is your talent?
That's my talent. I think I'm pretty good at feeling what we can do in maybe 2-3 years. Everything that's something that comes very naturally. When I have to work on something on the topic, I already think of maybe the 2 years, 4 years step. That's not something complicated for me. So I don't have issues to forecast, to identify what's coming next. I think that's one. I think I'm also pretty good at relations. We speak about emotional intelligence. I believe I'm not too bad at it. I don't know if it's talent because I'm working on it, but it's not a lot. Doesn't ask me a lot of effort. Doesn't ask me a lot of effort. So I believe that comes maybe more naturally. I would say those two can be, but I don't know if it's actually a talent.
Yeah, well, some things are easier for some people. Some things I could never see a spreadsheet full of data and be really excited about. Some people. I think that is that's very cool to work with. And you have 100 people under you. What do you give them to work on these projects?
We try to make sense to what we do. So back to the impact approach. So what's the impact? So we try to explain first why we do it. Basically what we want to be is to be the leader, a retail leader in collaboration in the market where we are. And that means that we need to create a whole ecosystem and we need to work all together in that direction.
So it's one specific KPI, one specific goal that everybody's working
that's
towards.
The why we do it. We know that, we explain that all the time what it means. The most complicated part is how we align the sales objective, the customer needs through the customer success objective, and the product team and the tech team together to go on to have the same direction. That's when you look into details. That's where it's the most complicated. So what's key is to be clear on the direction, what we want to achieve, to succeed to translate that to the objective of each department. What does that mean for them, and to bring them together to identify how that can be connected all together. And that's, I think, the most important part, the most challenging part, because every day, the salesperson is only focused on we can develop more results money-wise. The operation team, customer success team, they just want the customer, the user, the customer to be happy, to get what they want. And the product teams, they want to have the best products. But all together should work, but that's a challenge that we have every day, and actually we're working a lot on it.
That's the role of the leader, to orchestrate all these parts and make sure that they're working together.
But the key is to bring people together a lot of time, to try to connect as much as possible, to let what I love is to let the problem happen. I have no issue to have problems, because I believe that if we don't fail, or if we don't have an issue, we don't really learn. If everything goes well, we don't learn anything. We just believe we're really good. But as soon as we have debates, we disagree about the different direction, we can have a very good conversation on what we should do, and go back to why we're doing it. What's the impact, and then we can move forward. That's a big challenge, because we all try to influence to our own needs, and in how we can succeed to bring the teams to actually share one vision on what we need, and not only a specific one from a different department.
And now that you have 2 kids now, 2 babies, what would you say for them when they are on the age of starting a career? What would be your advice to them, or to anybody that is starting their career?
Basically, just look at what you like to do. If I go back to what was the situation for me, I rapidly I got hooked by the data situation, big data, and so that was my topic. when I finished my school, university time, it was about data. I joined the company. I want to do this, but I want to start from the engineer approach to understand how it works and to look into details. And from that, I realized I was better at selling than I coding. So I moved to more a consulting approach. Then I moved to Carrefour. At the times, I wanted to transform the company. And those that led me through this, but data was still part of the journey. So I'm back to creating a story. So I think as soon as you find something that you're really interested in, you feel that you like to transform, or you like to just manage, or just try things to understand what actually you like. Accept also all the challenges that are given to you. Don't think too much at the beginning, because you have time through all your experience and stories to understand exactly what you're good at or what you should actually focus on growing. And you can be ambitious or not. I mean, it all depends on what gives you energy, what's good for you. So, for example, for my kids, I don't know what they will be. But for someone that is ambitious, is be ambitious. Look at where you can have an impact, because if you have a good track record, people will recognize it. So you will get rewarded for that. Also have the good skills in terms of relation with your colleagues. Be kind, be humble, be pragmatic on what you do. Assertiveness is key. I mean, a lot of actually things that you need to have to, I think, have. I mean, a career that can actually could fit to what you want to be, what you like to do. And I think the most important is just do what you like to do, because it's complicated sometimes to force yourself to do something that actually you don't like.
Yeah, but like when I was 18, I definitely didn't know that I liked to interview leaders. You know, you never know where life's gonna take.
Yes, but that's the most important part, because you try something, you realize that you're really good at it. And maybe in 5 years, maybe I'm done with that, and I actually like more to do this, and that's the magic of a career, I guess. And
as you like too much data, share with me some interesting data that Carrefour Links have that we don't know. Let's say what you have found out. Well, actually, the team gave me some interesting insights. But so I have my little paper here. So I have questions for you. All right. It's quite kind of a quiz. Are you ready? Oh, I wasn't ready for that. Okay. So this one is about coffee. So just before, it's all about Carrefour data, what data that we get from our stores, from our 8 integrated countries. So guess which type of coffee is more popular in Europe and South America? Ground coffee, capsules, or beans? So in Europe, for you, it's more ground coffee, capsules, or beans? Ground coffee. Okay. I just had one, so I'm guessing. And South America, for us, is Brazil and Argentina. As a Brazilian, I would say ground coffee too. So in Europe, it's more capsules, 57%, but definitely in Brazil and Argentina, it's 70%. All right. So 50%. Right. No, I like 70%. Yeah, no, but like I committed a mistake. I got 50% right. Okay. But that one's not easy, because ground coffee sounds to be, but actually the capsules were really. They're very convenient, so I understand. Yeah. Yeah. Then it's about pasta. So guess, that's a tricky one. Guess which country between France and Italy buys the most fresh pasta per household? Italy. I'm also Italian, so well. Well, about fresh pasta, French shoppers buy a bit more. 42% of their pastas they purchase are being fresh, and my family is not believing that. Yeah, but that's for actually a good reason. Actually, Italians, they buy their fresh pasta in specialized stores. Okay. So they buy fresh pasta. Or the nonna makes it. Yes, or homemade. Yeah, exactly. True. Okay. So that's why that makes sense. In France, forgiven. That's not that. Yeah, that's why. I'm gonna publish this episode.
So that means that you maybe Italians are more concerned about the quality or as part of their culture. That's why.
Right.
And then about pet food, guess if Europeans buy more cat food or dog food? I mean, are you more a cat or dog person?
I'm a definite dog person.
Okay.
Dogs.
And no, it's 2/3 of the market is cat food.
Wow.
Yeah,
But that's a like super significant difference. It's not like 2%.
And the global pet food market is flourishing with more than 12% annual growth. It's actually booming.
Yeah, I should do a podcast about that because that's definitely something that's like,
Yes.
yeah, you see more and more pets everywhere, right?
Yes, definitely. I think you have in France you have more pets than people. A bit more. So that's different. So if
I'm a pet mom, but
if you look at the potential, that's huge.
That's true. No, it's ridiculous how much money I spend in clothes for my dog. So. All right, Emmanuel, it was a pleasure to have you here. I'm excited to see how the business is going to develop. Congratulations on your career journey and everything that you're developing. And thanks for coming to OFFBounds.
Thank you very much for having me.